I just appear and start talking. Hello, everyone. I'm here with my friend Britt. She is an attorney out in Arizona. Um, I don't know if a lot of people who are watching this have seen you before. I know you kind of came into this with Sarah not too long ago. How long has it been since you started following this stuff?
So you dropped the little seed and said, hey, you should look into this since you work in Arizona in family law, among other practices.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, this is fun. And then I was like, ooh, paternity cases are fun. Oh,
Hmm.
oh, oh. So I went through the victims of Laura Owens. I found that website pretty quickly. Shout out to whoever runs that. It's very helpful.
Oh, that's I don't think I'm supposed to say that actually, but
That's somebody great.
they'll hear you. You're
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. Shout out
Yeah,
to you.
yeah.
Went through all of that and I've been catching myself up. So if I get stuff wrong, um, let me know. My
You're good.
paralegal is calling me right now, so hang on 1 second.
No worries. I have something I have to say anyway, so you can mute
Perfect.
yourself if you need to. Guys, the video from last night, I took it down, and I wanted to explain this early on. Uh, it was about that whole Gillespie connection document. So my friend Sarah, who does a lot of podcasting with Britt here, and some other people on Reddit had pointed out that one of the screenshots in Laura's Gillespie connection police report appeared to be from Laura because it was a screenshot that said, posted now, and then it also had the edit pencil next to it. Apparently, that document was redacted, right? So I couldn't see the username on it. So the logical conclusion was Laura screenshotted herself, her own comment, right? So that was the conclusion of the Laura's telling on herself, which I stand by. Laura loves to tell on herself. However, this time it appears people know how to unredact documents, which was not a thing that I knew how to do. But people know how to do that. And so they tracked that down today and they tracked it all the way back to the same user who posted the Halloween costume meme, who is apparently, not Laura, I guess. I don't know if they've ever face to face verified who they are, but they have, I guess, spoken to other people. So just for the sake of correctness and just like not wanting to confuse people later on who come across this stuff, because as you guys can see, a lot of people getting eyes on this that never heard about it before. I don't want to spread further misinformation if that's not accurate. So I took it down. And I wanted to kind of give everyone an update on that. I stand by everything else I said in that video. Like I said, she loves to tell on herself. Like, look no further than the ultrasound with the Fiverr logo in it. But I just for the sake of accuracy, and I'm not sure, so I might as well just be safe and take that down. So, but okay, you're all good.
Yeah, sorry. Pacer is actually the most annoying platform if you actually have to file stuff with federal courts.
Ah.
So my paralegal and I are like trying to figure out how to share a Pacer account, and it's the worst.
I have a Pacer account, but the only time I filed in federal court, I had to do it through the pro se email. So, they don't let me do that. I'm not cool, I guess. But yeah. So there was some stuff I was going to ask you about this recent blog post. I don't know if you read the whole blog post from Laura's attorney, where he's ranting and raving about Omar and saying Laura's going to sue him. And I'll pull it up, but I don't know. We're not going to read the whole thing. I try not to give him as much attention as I used to. As fun as that was, David and I sharing all that time together. It's just exhausting. But I was getting really annoyed with this because, like, excuse me, sue him for what? What damages? What damaged you other than like emotional damage from your parents, Laura? What damage? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. This was just bizarre to me. What was your impression of that?
So you sent this to me, and I was like,
Yes.
"Oh, you want to talk about bankruptcy? Let's talk about bankruptcy."
Sorry, you
I clerked
you
for the
clerk for
bankruptcy
somebody?
court.
Okay, right.
So she's the chief justice now. She was not the chief at the time, but
Okay.
she's essentially like the top dog at the bankruptcy court, to put that in layman's terms. And I worked for her when I was in law school, so it wasn't a post law school clerkship, but yeah, so I have a little bit of experience with bankruptcy. It starts and stops there. I did not go into bankruptcy because, as you can tell from my text messages, it lulls you to sleep.
It was one time. Okay. One time.
So our buddy Gingras here is talking about a case, the Inree Snowden case, where a $500 fine turned into her getting thousands of dollars in attorney's fees.
Right.
And he's trying to make it seem like Omar is on the hook for thousands of dollars in attorney's fees, treble damages, punitive damages, all that. The facts of that case are so outside of what's happening here, to be clear. And I know that you guys probably have some experience knowing that this guy is bombastic and that you have to read the things he cites because what he's citing is
just a little bit. I'm gonna have to get you to one day watch that debate he did with my friend Rachel on Reality. Steve had him on, and Rachel's an attorney, also out in California. She does family law, but she debated him on his issues, the cases that he cited, and Laura's cases, and he just like didn't know the cases, and she knew him like back and forth, and it was just embarrassing for him. But like he writes stuff like he's 1,000% sure it's true, and I'm just like, to the lay person, even this doesn't make any sense. So like, what?
So in the Snowden case, just so everyone's clear, and Wallace, I'm new to the Laura Owens universe. I just am a lawyer. I'm just a little old lawyer in Arizona, thinking about contacting her ethics board every other blog post. Just a little old gal. So the Snowden case, she has this debt. The automatic stay is entered, and that's very serious. So when you are alerted as a creditor that there's an automatic stay, you now have to work with the trustee through the bankruptcy court. You submit your claim to the bankruptcy court. You no longer can contact or try to, take the money from that debt, right? They were contacting her every single day at her work. They said, if you do not call us, we will not enter into an agreement with you. They were harassing her so badly that she had emotional damages, actual emotional damages, to the point where she would get a call at work and come running, just stressed out.
Yeah.
So the facts there are very different. And then I sent you something in the private chat.
Yes.
If you want to pull that up.
This is it,
right? So
Gingras
is saying, Laura Owens is going to sue Omar based on the automatic stay. And if you want to scroll down there to 8 and 9.
This one or down below?
Let's see. It's not 8 and 9. Okay, so subsection B, 1, 2A, 1, 2. Yes.
What?
Go back up.
Okay.
There we go. Subsection. Keep going a little bit.
Or up.
Keep going up. Yeah.
Okay.
A. And then
you're just saying letters. I don't know.
So brackets, little mini B that's down there at the bottom of your screen.
Yeah, okay.
That's where we're going.
Okay.
So if you'll notice, filing a petition under section 301, 302, which is just the different type of bankruptcies, does not operate as a stay. So these are the different type of actions you can commence or pursue while there's an automatic stay. And if you go down there to number 5, interesting. Cases regarding domestic violence.
Okay.
So pardon my language, but an effing order of protection is carved out from the automatic stay.
Yeah.
On the very plain face of the statute. So one, Gingras needs to stop talking about bankruptcy because he didn't read the bankruptcy statutes before popping off at the mouth. And Gingras, if you're going to watch this, this is me. This is not Lauren saying anything bad about you.
Oh, I've said way worse stuff with less knowledge, so it's
so Laura can sue Omar all she wants to. I think I saw that he withdrew the fee application.
He did. Yeah.
There's a stipulated dismissal. The judge has not signed off on it. To say that's a violation of the automatic stay is ludicrous.
Okay.
And there's case law. Actually, if you type the Snowden case that Gingras relies on in his blog post, if you type that into Westlaw, some of the cases that decline to extend the Snowden, that precedent are cases that are much closer to this one. So nice try, but no, thank you.
I guess also they would sue him under the Arizona laws because the bankruptcy case is in Arizona. Is that it? Because I was like, Mike's case is in California, but I guess wherever the bankruptcy case is where that would be relevant.
So, yeah, so the bankruptcy laws are federal laws, right? But we have like the Arizona Bankruptcy Court, and then we have the kind of Ninth Circuit that we appeal things up to. So we would be staying within our district, within our circuits. But yeah, but you could look at Texas law and say, this Texas court had a case exactly the same way. Here's how they ruled. And we should do that as well. And it's not precedential. In other words, you don't have to look at it, but you can say, this is kind of persuasive because here's what they did.
Yeah. Let me pull this up real quick one more time because I just want to get to this part. He has a particular fondness for using his law firm website to just like spew insults at people, which is a really interesting business strategy, I think. He's done it to me. He's done it to Dave Neal. He's done it to Megan Fox. He's done it to Omar. He's done it to, who else has he done? The lady Schnitzel Ninja, who, she goes by that moniker online. To some people who are probably in the chat here, who he's copyright struck for using his gym selfie in their thumbnails. He has done it to a Redditor. He tried to subpoena a Redditor for doing a recap of his blogs and videos. Not a recap per se, but like a critique, rather, where they try to critique the things that he said in his videos and his posts. And he tried to find the personal information of the Redditor. Reddit, of course, told him to go fuck himself. Yeah, which he was not used to, and he ultimately dropped that. He copyright struck my YouTube channel. My phone is going off. Hold on. He copyright struck my YouTube channel, said he had 2 years to sue me. Omar stepped in, responded to the copyright thing, and he dropped it because he's actually like a little wuss, even though he likes to posture on his law firm website. But there's just like so much craziness going on here. And I wanted to read this part here. 2 things. Omar doesn't make errors. Omar is a habitual liar. Omar lies about anything/everything. I know this because he blatantly lied to the court after I was involved for 1 3-minute hearing. That's not exactly what happened, but Omar seems to think that lying is okay because fuck, everyone else does is without any consequence. Everyone else does it, I think he means, without any consequence, so surely he can too. I mean, look, I have also said I believe Omar is one of the worst lawyers I've ever encountered in terms of his legal skill. In other words, he has none. This from the guy who ran away scared from him twice. His writing is worse than a first-year law student, and he has 0 track record of ever winning anything in a court of any significance. He's never won an appeal, never even worked on an appeal as far as I can tell. He's never set foot in federal court. He's not even admitted to practice in federal court. He's basically like a guy who watched Top Gun, bought a pair of aviator sunglasses, and now he tells people he's a fighter pilot. That doesn't make it true. Is it obvious I don't like Omar very much? That's beside the point, so I'll stop. But he says here Omar is the worst lawyer in the country. He knows Laura's bankruptcy case has not been dismissed. I mean, there was a stipulated dismissal, and he calls Omar like an intense liar here. And it's like everything he's ever been accused of on behalf of Laura is like what he accuses us of doing. And it's kind of bizarre. So he had this weird like bromance wish with Omar in the beginning. He was like calling him on the phone and emailing him and like wanted to be on his show and like all this stuff. And then Omar,
he's one of us.
Yeah. Omar at one point was just kind of like, listen, man, like this doesn't, he tried to be really diplomatic about it. He even like David even ambushed him once with Laura on the line without telling Omar. And so he tried to be very diplomatic and like fair with them. And then like one day Omar was just like, this is ridiculous with something. I don't remember what it was, but ever since then he's had like these crazy vendettas where he's like spewing paragraph after paragraph after paragraph on his business website. And just like all kinds of crazy shit like that. And this is the kind of scorched earth stuff this man does. And you pair that with someone like Laura Owens, who uses the court systems to abuse people. And you have this disaster that we're in right now.
I did find that rant. Oh, Omar hasn't ever won, which like,
yeah.
Okay, like not all of your cases are going to win or lose based on your ability. Some of them are just bad cases and those people needed lawyers anyway. I digress. I thought that rant was hilarious because didn't he just lose a whole paternity suit? One of the easiest lawsuits to win, by the way, is a paternity suit.
Unless your client is, I guess, lying about babies being
Unless your
born. I don't
client
know.
fabricated evidence
Mhm.
and and admitted under oath to lying to the court and to
Yeah.
submitting false evidence to the court. So, bro, you just lost big. You appealed it, about to lose again, and
Mhm.
you're out here on your blog talking about wins and losses.
Right.
Not a glass house I'd be throwing stones in, but whatever. Do you?
Yeah, you said something interesting though, and I don't know if this necessarily applies to everyone, but I think it applies to a lot of people you've worked with or across from, maybe something about solo practitioners, and that was something that I thought maybe people would want to hear.
Okay, you guys, broad strokes here, okay?
Mhm.
The law is collaborative. It is, when we make fun of Blake Lively for her 12 lawyers, I'd rather work with 12 lawyers. I mean, 12's a bit much, but
Does she only have 12? I was like, that's a little
might be
lowball
like
on
20,
everybody.
right?
Yeah.
But a really strong litigation team has a team, right?
Mhm.
And part of that is because you're just sitting here in the tank with the marble circling the drain, and nobody is there to bounce those ideas off of. And sometimes you argue something that somebody's like, I don't love that, right? Like when you say that out loud, right? So the law is collaborative. Solo practitioners tend to be people, not always, broad strokes, who can't get along with other people,
Mhm.
who are very unprofessional, who don't think anybody's ideas have any merit or value. And I just, every time I have a solo practitioner, I find that the stuff coming out of their office is, what are we doing here? What the hell is this why you had to go solo? Because nobody else will work with this behavior.
Hmm.
Now, I live in Arizona. It's a very different practice area, right? It's the wild, wild west out here. So maybe we're attracting a certain type of solo practitioner, but I cringe when I see a solo appear on a case opposite me. I just do. I'm
Yeah.
like, God damn it.
Yeah.
We're about to get some crazy.
I mean, I have seen that a couple times now, I think. And also I would say the only thing with that is, like you said, it was broad strokes or whatever, but Omar pretty much he's a solo practitioner to my knowledge, unless he's hiding someone
I'm
else.
sorry. I'm sorry, Omar.
Unless he's hiding someone else in his office that I don't know about, which is possible, but unlikely.
And there are
So
plenty of people that go solo that are very talented and all
yeah,
that, but there's just a personality type out here that I'm like,
that in particular kind of struck me. I was like, oh, wait a minute, that makes
yeah.
sense. Yeah. So
Gingras
like Better Call Saul.
is exactly what I expect of a solo practitioner.
Yeah.
Like that is just the personality type drawn to our
Mhm.
practices out here. I don't know.
Yeah. I have a couple more blogs, not all of them from David, but one of them that I want to cover. Okay, well, because one of them is from Laura, actually. This one is called "A Dead Moose" and ER 3.3. So he likes to argue with people online about his ongoing bar disciplinary case. And my
Is
friend
this
Bruce
a
here,
shot? I was gonna say, is this a shot at Bruce the Moose?
it is. He's right there. And oh, Sarah says, by the way, mental health profession is similar. You need that support and supervision, and as far as solo practitioners, I agree.
I just
Um,
I just find that I'm a better lawyer when I can talk about the arguments that I'm making and work them through with somebody else.
yeah, yeah. Well, I know he works really well with people, Omar, but I thought, well, he has paralegals, yes, but or a paralegal at least. But yeah,
I scared Omar away. He was like, "Oh, you don't like solos? Screw you. I'm out of here."
I think Omar's just tired of everything to do with any of this topic. To be honest, I would be if I were him. But yeah, this is a shot at Bruce and my friend Patrick, who is also a lawyer, but he does not work in Arizona, does not work in California. But he wrote this long, crazy blog about Patrick and Bruce because he was upset about something they said about his bar case. And then I think he, did something, and he likes to do this. He'll like insult people's intelligence, but then he'll also go and make a correction in his cases or like do something differently strategically based on what those people say. So he'll sit there and he'll talk about how dumb you are. And then he'll be like, but just in case, just in case. And that's what he did with Rachel as well. After their debate, he was like saying he wasn't going to do reconsideration or whatever. Oh, hey, there's Omar. Yeah, he wasn't going to do reconsideration or whatever. And then he, after their debate, went and did basically what she suggested as far as the reconsideration went. I was just like, okay, man, like everybody can see right through this craziness. And then like one of the most insane things I've seen him do, or like I didn't get to see or hear it firsthand, but Reality Steve talked about this with Rachel on one of his podcasts recently, where David called him, I guess like FaceTimed him from a hot tub after Mike's case and was upset about something Rachel said. And he said the word like bitch dozens of times and the C word a bunch of times, and was just like ranting and raving about her. And just like there's the way that he jumps from 0 to 100 with this stuff is just so bizarre.
I just shout out to Sarah for the super chat.
Oh, wait, let me hold up. Oh, okay.
The Reddit trolls like to say that I am not a lawyer, that I look like I sell seashells on the beach, which is now my dream profession.
If you don't have haters on Reddit and you're on YouTube, then you're not very relevant, I feel like. So I think you're probably...
I was like, that's so nice that they talk about me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's people out there thinking about you, not just thinking about you, but they probably go to bed at night thinking, I bet Britt's on a beach right now selling wind chimes.
And I'd love to be. Yeah.
That actually sounds pretty relaxing.
Calling someone in a professional capacity from a hot tub, I can't. Like, the language aside, all right, you get that from some lawyers. I've never heard someone call me the C word, but there's still time. I'm only 7 years in, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll give you a call later. No, I'm just kidding. There was another one in here, one of my favorite ones of his, and I think I don't know if he removed this one or not, and it was like sometime in the last 6 months, he wrote some excerpt about me being a shit-eating worm and like graphic details about the kind of dirt and shit I would eat, and it was just kind of like, excuse me.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, he does all kinds of stuff on his law office blog, which is just like a very interesting look. And I'm not going to give it so much attention as to read through these blog posts right now, but I just wanted to point that out. This is all within the last 2 weeks where he's just like attacking people. And then of course we have Laura freaking out over this declaration that Omar included in that filing in the California court in Mike's case. Let me see if I can zoom in on this a little bit. This woman, Kristen Hardin or Hardin, I don't know how to pronounce it, was apparently at the horse show that Laura was competing in the week that she said she couldn't attend court and filed an ADA complaint because she was having intense bleeding and was like on her last legs of life and basically life-threatening condition, couldn't go to court, but she was competing in a horse jumping show. So her health was obviously fine.
Sure.
Well, not fine because, she seems like she has some issues that she needs to work out.
Her physical health was fine.
It was baseline. Let's put it that way.
It was baseline.
It was baseline. Yeah. She's been blogging, for some time now about how little she weighs. And she tries to blame that on people online, to where I'm just like, stop watching this stuff if it upsets you that much. But there's not much anyone can do about that. But she loves to do this, that kind of thing that David does when David did this with Mike, when he posted Mike's deposition on Twitter. He posted Mike's mom's voicemails, old voicemails, like almost 10-year-old voicemails to Laura on Twitter. It was just humiliating and embarrassing, a witness in the pending case at that time. And then here we have her going after this woman, Kristen, basically challenging her declaration with kind of vague words that don't really mean exactly, well, they do mean what she thinks they mean, but she's being very specific for a reason. And then there is something in here. Let me see if I can find it. Instagram versus reality is hilarious for Laura. Let's see. She watched a girl ride and went online to find out who she was. I'm like, dude, no. Like, people were talking about Laura Owens because she was at that horse jumping competition. She like won an event or something. But she puts in here that what Mr. Serrato knew and when. This is the craziest thing. Mr. Serrato was told everything wrong with this declaration before he filed it, beginning not in January 2026, but in October 2025, the same month Hardin signed it. On October 28th, I wrote to Mr. Serrato and told him exactly where I was on October 21 and 22. On October 21, I appeared in court remotely from my home in Scottsdale, which she was supposed to be at court, but she didn't show up. On October 22nd, I was in my car outside a GI office in Phoenix. The address was given to him in that email, but it was 41 minutes from Westworld, where I had a 9:30 a.m. appointment that ran into the hearing. I offered him building security footage and GPS records from my phone to verify this, all of which she could have faked, just like she faked her medical records. But anyways, what do you think about that? Like, I assume it's not Omar's responsibility to verify these things.
Mr. Serrato was told. If you're jumping horses and telling the court you can't be there, you can be there.
Right.
I don't know how to wrap my head around saying, I'm so sick I can't. Now, maybe she jumped a horse and her guts got all messed up and she had to go to the gastroenterologist. That's not my field. I'm not that kind of doctor. But
gastroenterologist.
The best doctors, by the way, are very close to Westworld. I'm very familiar with the Phoenix area. I lived there for many years. You would go to Scottsdale Hospital before you would drive all the way to Phoenix, in my opinion. But, you know,
yeah.
What do I know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it feels like an unbelievable lie, but it's a convenient lie for people who don't live here and aren't familiar with the fact that there's 30 doctors per one person in Scottsdale.
Yeah. So this stuff that she's writing to him is kind of bizarre because he says, Laura, you're facing multiple charges for perjury. Your words carry no weight with me. We'll raise these issues as well as your appearance at the horse show after you claim to be in life-threatening danger at the hearing next week, unless you have dismissed your petition by end of day today. I hope you make the right decision. Which is pretty, like, again, I always say diplomatic, like, even no matter how frustrating this is, he's always very diplomatic with her. He doesn't lose it the way David does. You know what I mean? On October 30th, I named Kristen to him specifically and told him, if you're considering relying on Kristen Hardin for any assertion regarding my whereabouts, that reliance would be fundamentally unsound. I've never met her. She has no personal knowledge of me, my schedule, or where I was on October 22nd, except that she was in the same place, allegedly. So, I mean, she's trying to say now that October 21 and 22 were the court dates, right? She's trying to say now that she technically wasn't there on the 22nd, but she was there on the 23rd. She was competing on the 24th, I think. But the horse has to be there the whole time, to my knowledge. They had to be checked in at the beginning of the week. So she had to have been planning on competing and not showing up in court. She also had to sign up for that competition by October 6th, meaning she had to have planned to be there. So I don't know. There's a whole lot there to prove that she, had no intention of going to that hearing, including that she did not ask the criminal court for permission to leave the state.
Well, and you also have somebody who had somebody on her behalf negotiate a settlement, negotiate a motion to quash, or whatever the California equivalent is, and then is like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going forward with the order of protection. Right? You have somebody that has falsified documents under oath to a court. He has no reason to take her at face value. He has no reason to believe her.
Right.
And so to say, I'm actually going to go into court and make this argument. I'm going to present the evidence that you competed. I'm going to present this witness statement that you were there, and you can present your testimony, and we'll let the court do with that what the court is going to do with that. We'll see who the court finds reasonable and believable. That's what a lawyer does for their client.
Right.
It's not his job to just roll over and go, oh, well, she said she went to the GI doctor, so I guess I should shucks good golly believe her. Like,
yeah.
Why would we believe her?
The whole the dumbest thing about that, the thing in her blog that I didn't get to this part. Hang on, let me see if I can find it. Outside.
The fact that she's putting all of this in a blog baffles
She puts everything in a freaking blog.
I'm gonna send Gingras just a good old-fashioned journal and be like, you should use this instead, because your feelings don't need to be made public.
Yeah. So, from following the podcast and listening to this stuff, you probably know that Laura said she had attended OBGYN appointments with like Dr. McCool and Dr. Higley, but didn't attend those appointments, canceled them, but claimed to have been seen by them. I don't know if you actually listened to that part.
Yes.
If you recall that part.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you pay very careful attention to the language here, she says the GI appointment I was sitting outside on October 22nd was part of that treatment. The hospitalization on November 5th was part of the same picture. Was she sitting outside the hospital, by the way, or did she go in? I don't know. But sitting outside on October 22nd, and here's my problem with that. If she's saying she had to do an ADA complaint because she was in such life-threatening condition and they had to move the hearing, she was sitting outside on October 22nd, and then she tries to say, I guess, she was too late because the hearing that didn't happen went too long. If she was really in life-threatening condition, those doctors are not going to be like, you know what, come back in 2 weeks, or you know what, come back in a month. If you're bleeding internally, no doctor is going to risk their license by saying, we'll see you.
Sending you to the ER.
You'll be fine to compete in a horse jumping show in 2 days. She just loves telling on herself. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's not a particularly believable story in my mind. Mm-hmm. Now, again, how a judge receives that is up to the judge. That's why we have sworn testimony. That's why we have judges. So, the fact that she's lamenting, oh, Omar should have known what? Present your testimony, defend yourself all you want to, but he doesn't have to roll over just because you gave him this sob story about sitting outside a doctor's office.
Yeah. So she does this a lot with this person should have known this person should have known that, this person knows this. Like in her bankruptcy hearing, I don't know if you ever came across that within the last few months, she said something along the lines of, Mr. Echard knows I don't have XYZ income or whatever, and we're like, no. And they even asked her, they're like, you testified in your case that you had like $200,000 a year split with your mother. Are you now saying that that's not true? And at some point she said, like, David helped me fill out this affidavit where I signed off that I had this income.
I was going to say, I saw her affidavit of financial information. We called it an AFI. Yeah.
And she started to kind of throw him under the bus a little bit. And then he moved for like a limited role representing her in that bankruptcy proceeding. And then she, not too long after, just tried to drop the whole thing, which is, I guess, what they've stipulated to, which they'll sign off on in a couple days. Hopefully, I think the judge should sign off on that. And then I think at that point, can somebody like Clayton try to start collecting?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So, right now it's sort of this limbo where, all right, you don't want to violate the automatic stay because there are consequences to that. The court does take that seriously, but the second the judge signs off on that dismissal, and she can't declare bankruptcy again for another year.
Yeah.
I declare. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, slow down, Michael Scott.
But yeah, so she's barred for a year from bringing another bankruptcy proceeding.
Yeah. That's going to be tricky, I think. And the thing is, like, she's somehow finding money to pay a new private attorney, assuming that this person still wants to represent her after assuming that she, did not accept the plea deal on time. Then maybe they gave her an extension. We just don't know about it. We won't know until the status hearing, I think in a little over a week, unless somebody says something about it before then. But
for her criminal trial.
Yeah, assuming he still wants to represent her if she doesn't take the plea. I'm like, how are you even paying this guy? And then if she tries to pay another private attorney after that, it's like, that's 3 private attorneys you're somehow paying while saying you have no money to pay your debts. That's kind of crazy. So,
yeah, it's, you're allowed certain monies to pay attorneys for your bankruptcy. I don't remember off the top of my head if you get a carve out in bankruptcy for other attorneys. I guess neither here nor there because she's dismissing that case and not pursuing her bankruptcy action. But yeah, to your point, like, private attorneys are very expensive. She didn't want to go with a public defender. So there's money coming from somewhere. I mean, there are a lot of rich people who just move debt around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, it very well could be that they have nice things because they have all this debt.
Would anyone like to take my debt?
I
would be willing to pass it off. Okay.
I will go pro Blake if she pays off my student loans.
Yo. Okay. That's fair enough. I would allow it.
There's always money in the banana stand. Literally,
banana
that's the
stand?
second time someone has said that to me today.
What's the banana stand?
Did you not watch Arrested Development?
No.
Oh, well, we're
I've
going
never
to have
seen
a
it.
watch party.
Okay.
It's
Um,
very funny. A little offensive now. There are some things that didn't age well, but overall, a very funny show.
I feel like that's a lot of shows though. Now, you know, it's like oh you can't say that. Why would you say that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But 30 years ago, 20 years ago, I don't know. So
even the shows I watch over and over, I'm like,
yeah, no. I know Friends is a big one that gets a lot of new articles about the old show where it's just like this show was like terrible. I was like, well, it was a product of its time.
But we loved it.
Yeah.
We loved it.
Totally. You've made a huge mistake, Lauren. Must watch. I will keep that in mind. Nikipedia YT thinks are 2 pounds. British sells seashells on the seashore.
That's me. That's my future job. Gingras is gonna come after me. Oh no, I can't practice law anymore. That's the worst thing to ever happen to me. The super stressful job. I guess I'll go sell seashells on the seashore.
So you listened to the podcast, right? The Love Trap.
Yeah.
Okay. When you started talking about this stuff, and then after you listened to the podcast, did your outlook on anything change? Your opinion on anything change?
My flabber was more gasted after hearing some of the snippets of what was said online by Gingras. I think that, look, there are people in this world who are going to abuse the court systems. That is part and parcel of what this is. Part of the reason we have all these ethical guidelines and all of these bars to practice is that we're supposed to be a safeguard. So if they're going to do that, make them go do it on their own.
Right.
But we're supposed to be a safeguard. And it's astounding to me that someone would joke around of like, oh, he's never going to get that money because you can just declare bankruptcy. Like that.
Oh, he wrote a whole blog saying that again, like in the last couple of weeks.
That was very shocking to me.
Yeah. He's pretty bold with that kind of thing.
I think I came in with the benefit of hindsight, right? So everything you guys learned real time, I came in and had that available to me. So it was easy for me to be like, oh, okay, like this is how this is going to go. This is how this should go, right?
Right.
I had a little hindsight bias on my side. So nothing seemed particularly shocking. The lies under oath, I see people do that. Fabricating a sonogram is buck wild.
Which time, dude? Like which time?
Buck wild.
One of them was a stranger's. At least one of them was a stranger's, right? But then one of them was her sister's. So, and there's probably more that I'm not thinking of that she fabricated as far as sonograms. But those are the two that come off the top of my head. One of them is somebody the investigators talked to, who Laura stole her ultrasound off the internet, and that person went through real trauma, like losing a baby. Yeah. And Laura's just, over here appropriating it to try to trap a man. And I'm just like, she's playing into this stereotype that, I don't think it really happens all that often. Like, yeah, I'm sure baby trapping, as they call it, is like, I guess it's a real thing that happens, but it's not like common. It's not like an epidemic. Like there's no reason to fear women. They're going to baby trap. You know what I mean? But like you hear stories like this and it's like, oh, holy crap. I can understand why it scares people. And then you think of the woman on the other end of the ultrasound and I'm like, that hurts so much more than even just the man involved. It's like you just totally appropriated this person's traumatic experience and like blasted it on a national stage, didn't even take the Fiverr logo out of it.
Nuts. Well, and Gingras is, I don't know what it was, motion for sanctions, motion to defend his intervener action. One of the ones you sent me. Was that the one where I got my close-up, or one of them? Anyways? Yeah. Okay. Just this idea that like there's this cult for Clayton, and he's like, does this sound unbelievable? Well, it's true. And I'm like, one, let's not use the word cult if we don't know what the word cult means. Cult doesn't just mean every group of people you don't like
Right.
or you ideologically disagree with. That's not what that means. It just, and then the attacking of the content creators.
Mhm.
So I've been covering the Blake Lively case, chat, and the
Who's Blake Lively?
overlap between Laura and Blake has been bananas to me, where I'm like, you took this to the court of public opinion.
Yeah.
Court of public opinion didn't like your story, started dogpiling on you for it, and now you're a victim to the court of public opinion for something you could have just been silent about. You could have just said nothing.
From this case, this is the first thing I ever did with YouTube, really. I was like, for fun, I was playing games with my family. I would broadcast the screen so we could play these like Jackbox games. I don't know if you ever heard of them. We played like Quiplash and stuff like that. And it would just be like fun stuff with my family, or I'd post like gaming clips. I never meant to have a YouTube channel where I talked about stuff. And then I came across this case, and that's how that happened. And so this was the first thing I ever did. And so the transition to the Blake Lively case was just kind of a natural transition. I was like, there's a lot of overlapping issues here, where I was thinking like, both of these people, I guess it's like kind of a pattern I noticed from people who abuse the legal system. Both of these people they don't only attack the person that they're going after, they also try to starve them of oxygen, and that they attack every person who puts out support for them. And they try to seed doubt about every person who speaks out in their favor. Or tries to take their side, so to speak, to where like the subpoenas with me and Cassidy and everyone else are like just trying to say there's a smear campaign and people are on the tag list, as we know that wasn't true, except for one person who reached out because he had a documentary. And then you have Laura, who's putting my picture in. Between Laura and David, my picture is in like 3 or 4 different filings, and I'm just like, I met Mike Marraccini one time in life at that point. I was like, what are you doing?
You're like, I was just hanging out gaming.
No, seriously though. And I don't know if you saw the one that I posted yesterday. I had because I went out and I streamed Clayton's trial from the courtroom. I was the pool camera person. And so I decided when she was going to take Mike back to court, I was like, okay, I'll put in a request, like a public media request, like a normal person does with the court, to see if I can stream this one too. But California family court's really strict about that, which I respect. And so the judge said no, or whatever. What I didn't know is that in California, they put every request on the docket. And so Laura found out that I had made that request. And then she did this whole weird paragraph about me, which was like, it was so backhanded. It's weird. She was like, Laura Neidigh is notable, though not the most lucrative or popular. I was just like, excuse me, why do you care so much about this? Because I don't. But, it was just very strange. She had this awful freeze frame of me in there. And it was not as bad as the ones that I saw going around mainstream media when the subpoena stuff happened, but it was a bad screenshot. I'll put it that way. And she was like, Lauren is retaliating against the court by supporting Mike Marraccini because they wouldn't allow her to record the court hearing or whatever. She is not a real journalist. And I was like, lady, I operate a YouTube channel. Yeah. You saw me record your last court hearing. I know how to operate a stream. It's not that complex. Yeah. And then Inside Edition put in the same request. The judge rejected it for the same reason. And that also got put on the public docket. But guess who didn't get accused of retaliating when they continued to cover the case? I'm just like, can we at least be consistent? Hello, where is their feature in your court documents?
Right. And that's the thing about these personality types, right? Like, it's divide and conquer, but what they don't realize is the more they attack, the more we band together as community, right? Because we see an injustice, and the more you attack people, the more we're just going to see you as a chaos demon bringing injustice to this world, right? And that's going to band us close together. Like, Mike Marraccini and Clayton are probably going to be friends for life. They are trauma bonded at this point. They are... Right. But she can't fathom people coming together like that upon pressure, because a little bit of pressure, and I would bet good money she's gone. She's not the kind of friend that sticks around.
Yeah. The thing about Laura is the friend that reached out to talk to Stephanie from the podcast, I'm sure you heard in that last episode, is somebody did reach out to her and tried to figure out what was going on there and talk to her, and she left them on red. I was like, we all said this whole time, she has nobody. Maybe she just didn't want to explain herself to people who did reach out. You know what I mean? Right. I don't know. Maybe there are people out there who are like, what the heck, Laura, what's going on?
Are you okay?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But you just didn't pay attention to them.
it's incredibly sad. It's also really cool that this entire community of people,
Yeah.
right? You've made connections, you've made friends. Like, I don't know. There's a silver lining there
Yeah.
to me,
It got a little tricky for a while, especially in this hearing with Mike. I mean, Omar being Mike's attorney, it gave them more access to try to kind of interfere in his personal life. I think that Omar and I had a hard time for a while because he was putting my picture in there. Omar's the attorney, and they're trying to say that I'm conspiring with him, and that was just like we were really close, and so that made things difficult.
Sure.
It was just like a very emotionally taxing time, I think, for everyone involved. It's like I like literally can't say anything to anyone, or these people are gonna like stalk me. I don't know if you noticed, but like the picture they put of me and Omar in that filing was from Zach Peters' show about Blake Lively. So this guy was
I did
stalking
notice
me.
it was Blake versus Justin
Yeah,
behind you. I was like, what does this have to do?
nothing. He was just stalking me. So either he showed up at that event in Phoenix and took that photo, or he went to my friend's profile, looked through his whole video, and got that screenshot. And like it had nothing to do with Laura. And so because Omar and I never posted that photo. So
Right.
he either went to Zach Peters' thing and like watched everything we did, even though it had nothing to do with him or Laura, or he went to the event, took pictures of us, and just left, which is creepy as hell. So I don't know which one it is.
Either way, it's kind of disconcerting,
Stalkery.
right? And like,
It's stalkery, especially when somebody has such a fixation on you that they're saying you've committed a crime against them. And it's like if somebody says from a parody, after this guy, put all kinds of crazy stuff about me in his blog, and I parodied him in a Discord using an account with my real name on it. Everyone knew who I was. I said, it's me, Lauren, but like saying that I committed a crime. And when you justify your actions by pretending that someone has committed some sort of offense against you, it kind of concerns me that he might justify more violent or aggressive behavior.
yeah.
He a lot of times on YouTube was very concerning to people. There were a couple of times where he had his firearms or ammunition out and was talking about them. He one time said Omar was dead to him with a rifle in the background of his video, and it was just like there's a lot of really crazy stuff going on there that I think there's so much that has happened that he's either deleted or tried to wipe off the internet somehow, but it's all saved if that ever becomes an issue. So
the obsession, oh yeah, there are always receipts on the internet. There are always somebody out there that's like, I have a video of you saying the worst possible thing. So just try.
Where did you find the video of me? Because I probably posted it.
But like, we expect more of professionals.
Yeah.
Right. But the other thing too is like the obsession, the commingling of his interests with his client's interests, the what's it called when you have that with a psychologist? Transference,
yeah.
Right? It's almost like transference where he's like taking on her stuff as his own. And it's concerning because it's like, one, as professionals, we should not be doing that.
Right.
Leave your work at work. That sucks that she has other legal actions. You don't need to be her white knight. She is not going to suck you. Like, she's not going to sleep with you, bud. Like,
that is a terrifying thought. But yeah.
And if she does, just don't finish because she'll get pregnant.
I mean,
tonsil twins on their way.
You're not the first person to have that thought. Yeah. I mean,
but it's not, he's crossing professional boundaries just with his own client.
Right.
And then he's crossing professional boundaries to attack people on the internet for exercising their First Amendment rights.
Right. Well, he calls himself a free speech and internet lawyer, by the way. So it's kind of
where is that in the room with us? Like,
I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's just kind of crazy. But all this cult talk has me questioning my position as Midwest Snarkosaurus. I will be reviewing my Oh, okay.
I should probably just start like sending him knitting cult lady videos just so he starts to understand what cults actually look like.
Yeah. So when that all happened, I had people who were understandably, you try to make humor. I also try to make humor out of things when like shitty things happen. But like people were saying like, oh, we should have merch or whatever. I was like, I don't want to make merch out of like cult. It just feels wrong. Like it's just because like people actually struggle with with growing up and feeling like they can't escape a cult. And I'm like, I don't really want to make fun of it. Stretching this, like people chatting with each other online out to be a cult because they have the same views on his client who has been found to have lied about pregnancy. Calling them a cult is interesting, for sure.
Yeah, it's astounding behavior from someone, and I would like to see it stopped.
Yeah,
not in a threatening way, not in an aggressive way, but in a, we have professional bounds for a reason, and those need to step in and do something.
Right.
And I don't.
He's at risk of getting in some serious trouble right now. I believe he was offered a settlement. Which, okay, you tell me, is it, if you're in the middle of a bar disciplinary proceeding, should you discuss the settlement offer you got online?
I personally wouldn't. Typically, this also maybe speaks. Typically, your malpractice insurance forces you.
He doesn't have that.
Yeah, I was gonna say this probably speaks to the type of practice he has. So, when you represent yourself in any proceeding, you have an idiot for a client. And so if he's representing himself in this bar charge, he has an idiot for a client.
He has a friend who's a pretty good lawyer. His name is Mark Randazza, who is helping him with part of his case when it comes to the free speech argument about what he said about Judge Mata online, which I don't believe falls under free speech. I think there's a deeper thing going on there with the judge presiding over your case. You can't undermine judicial proceedings to the public. But that's not First Amendment. That's not First Amendment protected as far as your job goes, to my understanding. But also, he wrote to Reddit. When I mentioned earlier, he tried to subpoena the Redditor. When he did that, he represented himself to Reddit as Laura Owens' attorney, and then said Clayton's fans are total fucking psychotic assholes, word for word. And that is another thing that he was, among the many things the bar brought up. That was one of those other things. And so Mark Randazza, I guess, is helping him with the anti-slap part of his defense, but otherwise David has been writing his own stuff. So
yeah, the stuff about the judge is extremely unfortunate. I've never tried a case in front of Mata. I don't work in Phoenix anymore, thank God.
I don't think she was reelected. I don't think so.
I can't remember. I've met her in passing.
Oh, okay.
Super sharp lady.
She seemed very fair to me when I was in the actual hearing. So
she does family law conference stuff. So I've seen her speak. I've shook her hand, met her a couple times at family law conferences. Again, never tried a case in front of her, so I can't speak to what she's like as a judge, but I've never heard anyone in the community say anything close to what was being said about her. Right. All right. Sometimes we don't like a judge's decision. Mata made a decision I didn't like, or, she really was wrong there. Fine. But to say oh, she's having her daddy make decisions for her is just a vile thing to say.
Look at me, daddy.
Yeah. I just don't practice law if that's how you're going to behave.
Yeah, that was fucking nuts. Because that was an illegal document. That wasn't even on his blog.
Yeah.
It's you can't act like that.
I mean, you can, but at some point, the rest of the profession is going to come crashing down on you because we don't want you here. You can't sit with us.
Right. It's just, I don't know. The whole thing was just crazy. He was also mailing letters to the judge's father's house, mailing letters and subpoenas and stuff like that. He tried to serve them with a subpoena for a date that had already either passed or it was the day that they were served with. And it just didn't tell them where to go or anything. There was just so much wrong with what he was trying to do there. And the bar seemed to have proceeded the way they did with the motion for partial judgment on the pleadings, because they were we need this man to stop harassing the judge and her family. And luckily it turned out in their favor in that way. So
yeah, I just wild behavior.
Yeah. So what happens after they have that partial judgment in their favor? The bar does. There's this anti-slap for one of the charges, but then the rest of them would, I guess, still go forward to the hearing. They said they intend to still proceed with these.
So there is a disciplinary hearing set. Is that what I'm understanding? Okay.
Correct.
So it goes in front of an administrative judge, which is an unelected person that just got hired. through the agency,
Hey, Nick.
through
What's
the
up?
bar. Hey, heyo. And so they will have the charges in front of them,
Mhm.
and he will present his evidence. Whoever made the charge will probably present their own evidence, and then the bar makes a decision.
Mhm.
So if they find that there's any sort of violation of any of the ethical duties, he could be sanctioned, which could include monetary damages. He could be forced to take more ethics classes before he reinstates his license,
Mhm.
or he could be disbarred.
So the settlement offer they gave him was 6 months and 1 day suspension, which was effectively he said it was effectively disbarment. So I guess that he would have to like reapply or something after that period was up.
Is that what
Um,
he's facing?
that was the settlement offer.
Was disbarment?
The 6 months and 1 day, which he said was effectively disbarment. Yes.
Okay, so yeah, so they take your license away for a certain period of time. It's like any other diversion program.
Right.
You have to do a certain amount of therapy before you're let back into society after DV. You have to do a certain amount of alcohol prevention classes after you get a DUI. Like
Speaking of
it's
that,
just like that.
he's still pending his trial for his second DUI, so that's not even part of this bar case.
We
Yeah,
love that for him.
yeah, right. That's crazy. He
You
keeps
guys,
getting continuances, and so it's been put off for a lot. But
I say this from the bottom of my soul: do not drink and drive, please.
right. I
Just
mean,
don't do it.
it's kind of a no-brainer these days. You can use any app to like get. There's so many options to get a ride from a bar home. Like,
Yeah, especially in Phoenix. Oh my God, there's rides everywhere.
oh, and the Waymos, dude. You don't even have to have a driver. Like they have
No,
driverless
you
cars.
can.
The last
You
time I was
cannot.
there, I
No,
took those things everywhere.
no, you cannot sell me on the Waymos.
I
Nice
like
try.
them. I
No
like them a
way.
lot. I'll sit in there and I'll just ride around by myself and listen to music and like look around.
I like to freak out the drivers. So where do you live?
I don't like to talk to people, so that doesn't work for me.
Gelswacker asked what happened to Popcorn Planet's case now that the
Uh,
main case is over. They file a notice to the court saying the main case is over and that the request is moot.
right.
They
Okay.
say there's no purpose to pursuing this. We can be done here.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what was going to go on there. I know Andy was a little bit upset because he was never going to get a ruling that he was in fact a journalist.
Pin Sarah's comment.
This one?
Pin it.
Oh, the way you guys are like just whatever.
Look, Lauren, you don't really know us, but once you get to know us, you're gonna see how like the yummy, flirty ball busting plays.
Oh, that's terrifying. This is worse than the wind chime thing. Oh man. Gelth says thank you. Let me see. I don't know if you guys have any questions for Britt. If you want to ask them in the chat.
Do you know if a lawyer has lost a license for talking bad about a judge? I don't know. I mean, I know plenty of lawyers who say plenty of bad things about judges. I have never seen someone personally attack a judge on this level. But to be honest with you, I'm not super familiar with the ethical side of, I mean, I'm familiar with the ethical standards, but not the ethical proceedings. All I know is what they present at conferences, but I think this is a pretty good case to say this person is attacking judges and other professionals in a way that's beyond just, oh, I don't like them, I don't like their opinions.
I don't think he likes them either.
Yeah.
No. Somebody asked, this is like a sarcastic comment. It's somebody asked, what's malpractice? DG doesn't even know what that is. And I mentioned that he did not have malpractice insurance. Now, if that's somehow changed between the time he came out to Laura's case and now, then that's something I'm not informed of. I'm not going to rule that out as a possibility. But to my knowledge, he does not have malpractice insurance. But what would you, if you had to sum up malpractice as a lawyer, what is malpractice?
So malpractice and ethical complaints are different, right? So ethical complaints are about our own internal regulations of who can be a lawyer, whereas malpractice is something that Laura would bring for him mucking up her case, essentially. So Laura could sue him for malpractice, And then you would have to prove it's like any other tort, meaning you have a duty to somebody. So that lawyer-client duty, that contract you have with them, you breach that duty in some way by not meeting your professional standards. I don't know, like personally getting involved with a personal relationship that he wants, allegedly, in my opinion, to be sexual. Breach that duty, right? That breach causes damages. So, I knew Judge Mata had her father had standing in the legal community. I wasn't really sure how. Again, I only know these people because they're the people who do all our continuing education down there in Phoenix, because they're them big fancy city lawyers. But yeah, I don't really practice a lot with them.
Yeah.
And they tone a lot of the city lawyers, when they come up north, tone their shit way down because they know we just don't do that up here. Like, we don't play those games up here. Our judges don't play those games up here. Our practice area, it's great. But yeah, so I think it would be hilarious. Team Laura Owens, if she wants to sue Gingras.
A lot of people have said that. I think I even said that. I was like, he's like the one person she could blame that I would be like, you know what? I might be on board with that, because she would not be possibly going to prison right now if this man had not steered her in that direction. So
I mean, she's got a decent case. Some of his, allegedly, we don't know what was said behind closed doors, but it seems that some of his legal advice has led her astray to the point where she has 14 felony counts. That to me is malpractice, or a potential malpractice case. I'm not going to say it is malpractice.
Sure.
Right, because I don't know. He may have been behind the scenes being like, please be honest with the court, right? Like, let's walk in and be honest.
It's possible. I don't know. I figure that anytime he put out a blog post, he had asked for her approval, like before he posted some things online, even though he posted some stuff that he probably shouldn't have posted. He did get her, apparently, allegedly got her approval before a lot of this stuff. So I don't know if that will make a difference.
Right.
So yeah, there's stuff like that. But,
if you know your client is going to lie to the court, you have an obligation to the court to come clean. So there's some ethical stuff here. There's some potential malpractice. I don't know.
Bruce says, I lost all critical perspective inside that Waymo. I made Bruce ride the Waymo with me in San Francisco after Mike's hearing. And he crashed out a little bit. Hang on, he likes to say that he was just doing a bit, but I like to think that he was actually crashing out a little bit. We're going to relive that. Okay. We have to go through the whole reel though. This is me in Omar's office a while back. Hold on. That was not what I was expecting you to say. I'm deleting that. Okay.
After the KKK over there.
Oh my God. That was not what I was expecting you to say. I'm deleting that. This is an emergency. If you don't give me your Wi-Fi password, all I can do is sit here and harass you. Is that what you want?
No,
I don't even think so. I don't know, but let me get this straight. You tried to solve our problem by disconnecting yourself from the Wi-Fi. Is that what just happened? Yeah, he doesn't know how to Wi-Fi.
That it was going to remember my password, and then I could say, make my password visible, and then I could just read it.
Who told you that? Weak security at Omar's law firm tracks. I made him listen to Hannah Montana.
My life around.
Nuggets!
Wait, are you sitting?
I love you! Nugget, come back! What's up?
Are you sitting in the front of a Waymo there?
No, that was in Omar's truck. We're getting to the Waymo. We're not there yet. The Waymo is like somewhere in here to where we have to go through these to get to the Waymo. Don't worry, it won't be much longer. What was this?
It won't be much longer.
All right, this is Omar eating ice cream, according to his me at Omar's house with his
Actually, you forgot to pick a pecker.
Oh yeah, you got to pick one.
That's Omar with worms.
This you always have. We're taking a poll. Yeah, no, tell me exactly what you just said to your dad.
Your boyfriend did.
God damn it! Oh, his kids think I'm his boyfriend. That's me. I'm Omar's boyfriend. Now do one of these. We're gonna skip me dancing again. Laura's TED Talk. My mom stole a pen.
Corinne Bailey Ray. Whatever happened to her?
Oh, we don't need that.
Excuse me.
Oh, that's again at Omar's house. So these guys were talking about crutches. How do you feel about the robot car? Oh, there it is. This is the Waymo.
I'm trying to ignore it. There's nobody driving the car but the car's driving, and I've lost all capacity for rational thought.
Oh,
so
good.
I'm just doom scrolling.
Relatable.
This is what I wanted.
Relatable.
And just living. I'm wallowing in late stage capitalism,
Oh
and
my
just,
God.
the robot is driving me around. I feel like I just have to yield to our new robot overlords.
You're really spiraling.
It's just, hey, it says when we're going to arrive, so I
Yeah.
have something to look forward to.
All
Oh,
right.
look, road construction.
We're gonna take off now.
What are we doing?
That day got worse. Not worse, but just progressively more drunk, I think. But yeah.
Progressively more
Yeah. Yeah. Sarah says, I'm with you wallowing in late stage capitalism. Yeah, Bruce had a whole life flash before his eyes in the Waymo. It was interesting.
Oh, someone in the chat asked, in a malpractice case, do you need a lawyer as a witness in the same way you do med mal? Yeah, in Arizona, actually, in any malpractice case, you actually have to have an expert hired and an expert report before you can bring a malpractice case.
What does that mean?
So it, like, if you brought a medical malpractice case, you would have to have a doctor's report to submit to the court with your complaint, saying, I think this was malpractice.
So somebody could just like call Dr. Medshow and
So you need to be able to afford to hire a doctor as a witness, which means you have to shell out anywhere from, $5,000 to $10,000 for a witness before you can even file your complaint.
well, that sounds
Expensive.
Yeah, okay.
But that's why certain attorneys only do medical malpractice.
Yeah.
And it's why you see medical malpractice in the bigger firms, because they have enough practice areas that can kind of buffer the loss, and they can handle those fees up front.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. Is Britt sewing wind chimes? She might be. I don't know what she's doing down there. It's entirely possible.
I'm making a hummingbird, which feels wind chime adjacent.
What does that mean? Making out of what?
Out of beats.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know if there was anything else that we wanted to go over tonight that we didn't. If there is, let me know. But
if you guys want Sarah and I to dive into any aspect of the Laura Owens case, we've been fascinated by this. We're latecomers, so it's fun to watch you guys, be in this case. Having followed the Blake Lively case, I know what it's like to create the community and just sort of feel like you're in something, like we're doing this together. Right. So it's been fun to watch everybody. Sarah and I do a series called Commit to Acquit. Mostly every Monday. Some Mondays I'm tired, but we love to hang out and talk about lawsuits. We're going to catch everybody up on the Drake lawsuit because there's some updates in his appeal.
Nice.
There's some
appealing.
Of course he's appealing. Everyone's like, oh, he's suing for a second time. I'm like, no, he's just appealing the first one.
Does he want to subpoena more content creators? As Michael Gottlieb likes to do that with his clients.
Fucking Gottlieb. So yeah, we're gonna cover that. We're gonna do Taylor Swift. She filed a response to the Life of the Showgirl.
Oh, right.
Copyright action. So we're gonna cover that. And of course, we'll keep up on Laura Owens. I'm gonna try and go to the trial, y'all, since I can get in the attorney's entrance.
Is that so? What does that mean? The attorney's entrance.
So, assuming I can get an attorney badge for Maricopa, you can get a badge where you can scan in, and you don't have to go through the front security.
Okay.
Just meaning I can get in faster, and I'll save you a seat.
I'm not jealous. It's fine.
I'm gonna save you a seat.
All right. Well, I'll probably be there because I didn't have to use all my PTO to go to the trial that just got canceled.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. It's assuming she doesn't take that plea deal, but we're all rooting for Laura. We hope she goes to trial. I think she can win. So.
Yeah, Laura. Plea deals are for losers.
Oh my God. Guys, I also put a link to Mike Marraccini's fundraiser. He's going to have to get an appellate attorney, unfortunately, now in the chat. I pinned that there. So in addition to having to get the appellate attorney, the most ridiculous thing is that she told the appeals court when requesting an extension on her appellate brief that no matter what they decided, she is going to seek a new restraining order anyways. So he's going to have to potentially get an attorney for that as well. And so she's just trying to financially drain this man, his wife, and their 2 daughters at this point. For the sake of her sick, weird fantasy of punishing people who didn't want to be with her, which is insane. But, you know, I did pin the link to that fundraiser. I think he was up to like $69,000, which is pretty cool. Last I checked, but a lot of that went to his case where Omar was his attorney. So, you know, he's kind of starting from scratch there. So if anybody wants to help out Mike, you can go to that link that I pinned, and I'll also pin it under this video when the stream is over. But that's like one of the craziest things I've ever heard, trying to get a new restraining order while appealing the dismissed one. Like, so pick one or the other, I guess, would be my thing. Like neither, ideally, because it's both. But it's just crazy. So.
Yeah, I mean, it broke my heart listening to the podcast. And I think it was his wife that was like, we're just going to be in this forever. This is just the rest of my life. And I was like,
yeah,
cool. The justice system, everybody. Great. Cool.
Right. Well, she also filed bar complaints against both Omar and Rachel in California for representing Mike and like talking, I guess, after the case, talking to the media, which they were just representing their clients. And she, I guess, is probably going to keep filing bar complaints against them forever every time they ever say anything about the case. It's just, there's a whole, like, unless somebody stops her and puts her in prison and kind of, she has to be conditioned to take no for an answer on things. Sorry, I'm trying to fix my camera.
I think she sits around in prison and continues to file lawsuits, honestly.
I think she'll try, but she won't, you know, if David loses his license, she won't have someone to help her with that. So
yeah, she's going to have to do it pro se, and that's good luck.
That's easier to fight.
Good luck to her. Yeah, it's incredibly sad. It's sad that people have used their own license, and by people I mean person has used a license to aid her in this. It clearly seems like a power play, but the positive news, if there is any to be taken from it, is all of the people who have seen through her just bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, the internet isn't buying it. She brought it to the internet, and the internet said, "Hold on, what'd you say?"
Yeah,
we're gonna dig into everything you've ever done now.
She always tries to blame Clayton for that, but like Clayton never wanted this to become public. She wouldn't put it on Reddit. She put a Dropbox of stuff on Reddit, and then also went to all the tabloids. So it was just nuts.
Yeah. So she, as Emily Baldoni said, she made her fucking bed. She can sleep in.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching us. Britt, I need you to stay put for like a minute when I'm done here, so you're uploading. I know you can keep making your hummingbird though. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to Britt's YouTube channel, which I put a link to that as well in the chat there. And we'll see you guys next time. So, thanks.
Bye.